I moved here in 2002, and that was right when this building was really starting to decay, and it just sat there. So the entire life of my business, kind of had my eye on it all along, but it was never really for sale. I think the Bristol Historical Society had it at that point, and they were trying their best to preserve it, and they did some great work here. But as my business grew, I just always kind of paid attention, and really there was a moment in the Honeydew life that changed. We had an opportunity to do a historical remodel in Bristol, Virginia. We called it the White House, but it was a house built in 1905. And that started my passion of how things were built before electricity, the craftsmanship, and just amazing what those guys could have done way back then. So we got a chance to do that, and as we were finishing that, this property came up for sale. We were able to negotiate and get the opportunity to save it. Mr. King had built his first house, which was a much smaller house, and it was built on a brick foundation. That foundation is still underneath this property. That house was knocked down, and that foundation was part of building this building. This building was built in 1903, and he built it for his primary residence. He was here till I think it was 1933, so about 30 years, and then raised his family, all the kids, wife, social events were done here, and then they moved, I think it was 1933, to a smaller dwelling as they were growing. So the property is actually built with a Renaissance revival styling to it. A lot of brick features. I learned about what egg and dart was. I did not realize it at the moment, but it's the style of the trim and the profile of the trims made into the brick itself. So I learned a lot about that. It's a Queen Anne styled type property. So that would have been what the character of the building being a Queen Anne style. We got a great group of guys. They get along well and are really good at what they do. But their passion to save this property, and some of our subcontractors. The landscaping was donated by one of our subcontractors. Our electrician came in and donated, just not for advertising, nothing but to feel good about giving to the Bristol community. So a lot of donations, a lot of lessons learned. We were working on the drywall one day, and a guy come walking in that specialized in the plaster. Well, plaster is not something we do anymore. We drywall instead of plaster. But he came in and actually taught my guys how to manage plaster and how it's different. He had no cost. He just did it because he cared. So a lot of love has gone into this property. There were areas that we did sheetrock, but there were areas that we did use the plaster technique as we could. All the ceilings came out in order to be completely rewired and replumbed, so those went back with sheetrock. But the walls that were original, we did use the plaster technique. There are no wooden walls in this building. People might not realize that. Every wall in this building is brick. We are 4 brick deep on the first floor, 3 the second floor, 2 on the third floor. The only wooden walls are the ones that we added for the restrooms and some closets here and there. But everything originally is all brick walls. To be able to follow Mr. King's business mind, starting of our community, and to have the privilege to be another businessman many years later, and for our business to watch it grow, just feel absolutely blessed to have the opportunity to work on the building and then call it home for a while. And as we've grown, and now we're growing across the nation, and to have done that right here from Bristol, Tennessee, to follow in his footsteps, just been good for my soul.